want, they can swap. It doesn't look like they're going to.
And Pittsburgh decided to ban Tracer.
I don't mind it.
I believe Insanity plays Widow. That is the only reason I could think that they would ban Tracer on Rialto.
Yeah, if I remember right, Parasite does play some of that Tracer. Astros is definitely more of that hit scan hero for the New York. So Parasite definitely doesn't play the Tracer a ton, but also it hasn't been very but yeah, sorry. Pitt hasn't been the most consistent or having the best hero bans throughout the season. It's kind of felt a little all over the place. So we'll see if that continues to hurt them at all.
I mean, Pittsburgh has also had a very weird season. Because in that week 1, you did have Sakura playing on Pittsburgh, but is Sakura still on Pittsburgh?
No, Sakura was traded to Las Vegas for Bowser actually early in the season.
That is what I thought, but I was not sure. And New York are taking their time with the Tracer ban. And they're going to ban JQ.
Okay.
I don't like that ban.
I mean, that's Emerald for you.
Why are you banning JQ on Rialto?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Nevro plays it occasionally. Nevro definitely plays the Zarya a lot more though. And that's kind of what I'm expecting to see is this Zarya come out.
Why wouldn't you ban a Diva or a Sigma? Specifically that Sigma. Because then Insanity has a lot, or the Diva, or just anyone really. Because then Insanity has a lot more to worry about with those heroes still on the table. Because of that Sig Shield, that defense matrix, being able to get Dove, even if he doesn't play Widow, Ashe is still very aggressive on this first point. So how are New York going to deal with this?
I'm curious to see how it goes. And New York is opting to attack first, so they are swapping the sides on that board.
I mean, attacking is harder on this map, but I'm pretty sure they're just doing it to see how far they need to get the cart, and maybe they can gauge what comp to run on their defense.
I think personally my thing is I've always liked being able to set the pace. So
so Maui's more of a Juno team then, because with Juno you can only play aggressive.
I wouldn't even say it's just that. It's like being able to attacking first, you're able to set that pace really. But
yeah, some teams just can't play first though.
Yeah,
like currently I do not think Pittsburgh can play first here. I think they can play first into that comp specifically, but I don't think they can play first into a lot of other comps with Zen Kiri.
We are seeing these comps. We've got a Sig Ram matchup going on. And both teams.
Sigma is better on this map in general, but I think he's going for Diva here. And we are going to see Zen kite towards the back end of that plaza or that corner And they're going to stop Cart at the first corner. But Astros is also going to switch off of the Tracer. And Parasite
really
is going to find a huge fight. I'm assuming a technical difficulty.
Oh, that's right.
They did ban Tracer. Run apart?
Oops. Yeah, that's a little bit of a mistake there. Astros started out on Widow and swapped to a Tracer who was banned.
Ooh.
So we're
not a good luck.
No, we're gonna have to restart this.
And that really sucks for New York. Because they got that card to the second corner fairly early, and they won the fight.
Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I saw Bowser was just standing still, and I was curious as to why, because he actually went down to the Tracer.
Second, yeah. Why my team yelling at me? Because you picked a banned hero. That is why they're yelling at you.
A little bit rough there.
Okay, let's see if we have any issues, but currently Pittsburgh seems to be better.
Welcome to Rialto. Initiating match.
Maybe we get this thing started now? We shall see.
Okay, and Pittsburgh are going to have their 5th player.
Ready for battle.
Isn't Bonaparte GMing for them?
Yes.
Okay, that's... just checking. Well, if you want a moderator, you have 2 in here. So, like,
It's... And I do believe that could cause...
some
possible, like, actual issues for... That might get, like, LO involved, staff involved, but... For now, gonna play it out. We shall see what happens.
In the end, it is an issue on New York's part, both on Bonaparte for not banning Tracer and Astro for playing that Tracer.
Both teams basically running out the same thing. Except
Another
you do
pause. Okay. What's the issue now?
I believe staff is trying to get involved.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, that would currently make a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are going to go to be right back because staff is currently getting involved. So we'll see you shortly. Sorry for the slight wait. Just had some things to settle. Won't get too much into it. But we did end up having to restart. So we are back on Rialto with New York attacking, and yeah. So it's just Tracer is actually banned this time.
Ready for battle.
As far as we are aware. Now, let's actually, play the game.
Yeah. Hopefully, no more interruptions or delays. I know it's already been a bit, but
yeah,
ready for it.
What do you think New York should play against Sojourn, Venture, Zarya, Zenyatta, Lifeweaver?
I kind of don't mind the comp they're running now. Although, I mean, obviously, Reinhardt and Zuzar is good, and Bonaparte does play that Reinhardt, but also
Although-
not great on this map.
Yeah, so I think you trade. I think Diva and Sig are both not. They're better on this map, but they're not good against Zar. So the Zarya pick, I don't actually hate it, but again, Zar just is not very good sometimes.
And it is a comfort pick for Nevro as well.
And
So it's
Bowsy
something-
is playing in that more left-hand angle near the plaza, but gets gripped
No
out
more.
of Dig.
And Astros gets the first pick onto Insanity.
Really weakening the defense here. That Sojourn also going uncontested on the high ground, pushing pressure on Beats Down, making sure that they cannot peek. And they're just, yeah,
Precision and control.
Pittsburgh fall over.
Both teams traded picks, but Parasite taking out multiple of them, and it just goes for New York now.
Thanks.
And unfortunately, New York are kind of ahead in ultimate charge, except for the supports. So we are going to see a flux sometime soon. And New York are going to get that first point cap and crossing over that bridge. One of the harder... First point is definitely one of the harder points on this map. Second point is relatively easy compared to it. Third point is really where the struggle bus hits, though.
And I'm wondering, like, how much of maybe a mental game that delay played on Pit here. Because
Yeah.
you had Nevro swapping... I think Nevro swapped between each restart there. Between
Yeah.
each starting of this map, so... Could have been a little bit
But
of a mental
Bonaparte
game
is
against them.
going to end. That grasp cannot save you from that Zar beam.
Does manage to get out. He did use the flux there. Wasn't
Forces,
able to find anything.
yeah, wasn't even able to force out a tree or Trank. But we are going to rush aggressive, and it is going to find Zenyatta immediately. And it will also find the overclock. And Pittsburgh just dying.
Yeah.
Not so
Guys are
fast.
trying to escape here. Alive for now.
No
Very
longer
quickly
alive.
dead. Gotta love Caster Curse. And
I
New
don't think
York
we
is-
cast or cursed at that point. I think they were always going to die.
Yeah, I think if he didn't jump out of that window, he would have been okay.
I
But
think
already,
I think they still would have chased. Because
probably.
chasing is just the objectively smart idea.
already. New
But
York is taking
Insanity
second
is
point.
gonna find that pick onto Astros on that left-hand side, really relieving the pressure. And both DPS are down. They still got second point though. I'm gonna. Okay, we do have perks currently, but we are very close to gaining perks. Both tanks have perks. Yeah,
And New
all
York
of
is
Pittsburgh.
just running
All
it
of-
down right now.
Yeah, all of New York has their first perks, while some on Pittsburgh are just halfway to their first.
Withdrawing the barrier.
We do have quite the ult advantage coming out for Pit here. They've got 4 ults
yeah.
coming into
Coming
New
up on
York's
5.
2. Yeah,
Because they are 80% to that high noon,
and there's New York's only current ult coming
and that's
out.
one. But it isn't going to find anything because it is a solo grab onto the... And that's going to force out Trank. That's a really good flux. The only 3 ults they have are Tectonic Shock, Tree of Life, and High Noon. High Noon is historically not great. Tree is also historically not very great. And Tectonic Shock can force a lot of space. I think you need to ult aggressively if you get a pick here.
They're still up 1 here. Now
You can't chase
Take down
this though.
Parasite.
They're too far back. You cannot chase New York here. And they have built up that rush from Nikki. I think they kind of push this. Yeah, and Nikki is going to get that standard Kiri build with shuffling and fortune teller. And here comes the high noon. with the rush. But here comes the Tectonic Shock.
I was about to say Insanity's still holding on to his, but he gets gripped and uses his, manages to kill Astros.
That rush gets no value. That was a really good ult trade.
Wow.
If
Okay,
you're
but-
Pittsburgh.
Pitt now uses this tree at the very end of the fight, and it's back on
Yeah.
cart basically. They got no use out of that tree, and they're
Now Ray is
maybe wanting that
uncontested.
back.
Now Pittsburgh's Ray is just, or New York's Ray is uncontested, just completely.
You are coming up on another Transcendence for out of that Zen.
I mean,
Could be
you're
seen
gonna
as-
build Ray faster than Trank though. Especially if a massive pulsar is hit, you will see Ray out before Trans.
And we do see Bonaparte swapping over to the Shrine here, trying to counter
Much
this
stronger.
Czar. And
Again, but
it
that is... Okay. However, they are not going to Ray until now. And they don't have Trank for this.
They're close, not quite there.
Beat-
Good
and
grab
Beatdown
coming out.
dies with Trans. That's just unfortunate.
I never managed to get two in that grab, but
yeah, Beatdown is gonna not touch. Yeah.
Complete.
that's first point.
That's round one.
Score.
New York still had minute 41 left, so they were able to get through that
Yeah.
pretty quick. But Pitt did manage to hold them off a little bit on that third point.
Mm.
So
Initiate.
able to weaken that time bank, but still going to be a bit rough.
Yeah,
their attack
I mean,
here.
it's certainly not the easiest to do. Third point attack on Rialto is very difficult. So you're really happy if you're New York getting it third point with time left.
Ready for battle.
And from Pittsburgh, we are going to see Anakiri, Widow, Bastion, and a Ramatra. And it might be a Ramir. I believe it is.
He
Ram
got it.
is... No, it isn't. Nevro is going Mauga. Yay, a Gunani Chan and a smile on their face. That's
4.
what Pittsburgh is going with.
1. Attackers incoming.
Enemy here.
Stop the payload.
They do have a better Mauga comp. Oh, no, my bad. I read that wrong. They do not have a Mauga comp. New York do.
Oh.
May Farah is certainly a choice of defense.
Although I do like the high damage you get out of Pit here with the Mauga and Bastion.
I mean, yeah, you just kind of blow up Bonaparte now. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Bonaparte gets a kill on Insanity, but they just shred him after that.
However,
And that
Nevro
was-
it has inted into New York and is going to get traded. That is that is the first corner fight of this map. And Insanity switching over from that Widowmaker to a Soldier. Not as strong into the Pharah, but Soldier is definitely in a stronger place than Widowmaker. So, I mean, it puts less pressure on the Pharah for more pressure onto the Mei and the Mauga, which Bonaparte has so kindly switched into. Into that... Oh god.
And Pit's... I feel like Pitt just doesn't know how to attack this right now. They're kind of spread out. Supports are staying pretty far back.
Bazzy's a little ahead,
And now you
and
get...
gotta get caught for it.
You've still got Insanity chilling underneath here, but he's going to get picked out.
Yeah, and that's a reset. Once again, you are fighting over this corner, one of the harder first points to attack in the game. That Pharah is really just controlling the high ground. Even with the double hit scan, the Pharah is still getting a lot of value. And Bonaparte's asleep. That Suzu is a little bit late. But that wall... And Nevro is going to get spammed from the Pharah. And they just can't engage. Where is your counter nano? They don't need it, apparently.
Sacrifice coming out from Insanity, gets one on Nikki.
And Barrage gets 2. That is most of Pittsburgh's backline.
It manages to clean it up. Biscuit's the only one remaining, manages to get out. But now you've got New York making their way back, and I don't... They're going to be able to contest this year, and it's not going to have the numbers for it.
Yeah. They
still
can't
waiting
really
on 2 to get back.
contest. And we are going to see Cage on Cart, and they are matching. However, Nevro is in a tighter spot because of that rush, being able to turn against him.
Bowser manages to just shred through Bonaparte's
The Blizzard?
cage.
We're blizzarding our demons.
I mean, it's trying to fight this out, but they just don't have the numbers. It's 2 supports
No.
and a damage against 2 damage and a support, so
Yeah. I mean,
I think
that
this is gonna be it.
I think that's it. Yeah. Astros is gonna fall, but it unfortunately they just cannot touch.
And New
And-
York will take map 2.
Yeah. Despite all the drama surrounding this map, New York are going to take map 2. It's going 2 to 1. No, 2 to 0.
Thought I was rusty. Area denial.
Nice play from Parasite here. I mean, if you're Pittsburgh, you're on your last leg.
Mm-hmm. Now we gotta see where Pitt wants to take this and who they want to ban. They are gonna sub in Zeke now, taking out their sub of Hunter Jewel.
I mean, Hunter Jewel looked good, but I
Mhm.
think if you're Pittsburgh, you would much rather play with Zeke.
Yeah. And I do believe that is the first time we've seen Hunter Jewel in this league. I could be wrong, but I mean, alright, so that was their first time in league play. Sounds they might have been in
Yeah,
some other.
They are free agent though.
So decent first showing out of them.
I mean, yeah, not bad if you're them. I think you should be able to look back on this map and say, I did well. Despite the fact that we lost it, I did well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we are just going to... And Nevro is going to be switching out for support. Thunder is going down onto tank. And yeah, we're just keeping the same DPS line with Nevro moving over to support. And of course, New York is unchanged.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, they could sub in Dragon Master. And we will see where Pittsburgh want to take us for map 3. We only have Escort, Push, and Flashpoint left. I haven't watched a lot of Emerald games, so this is out of my wheelhouse, but where do you think where Pittsburgh should send New York?
A lot of the time we just I feel like you see the flashpoint come out early. I don't know.
New York.
I think just in general throughout Emerald itself, you just see it come out early. I don't know if that's what Pitt will opt for here.
I don't think you should go to Flashpoint because Bonaparte seemed partial to Brawl.
But as you say that, Bowser has said they're gonna go to Suravasa.
I should have spoken about that. It feels like we've seen a lot of Suravasa and not a lot of New Junk City.
A lot of people just don't like New Junk City for some reason.
I mean, the only time I've ever seen people go to New Junk City is against Ottawa in Ruby, and that's because Adbon is one-tricking Widow.
Yeah.
I know Widow is unplayable on New Junk City.
Yeah, I personally prefer New Junk. I know in seasons past, that is where I've opted to go to, especially just I play Ryan. He's fun on that map. But
I mean, New Junk City does play more for the Brawl. The only real Brawl point on Suravasa is Market, which does, and to some extent Palace, but the points on this map are just so claustrophobic. You really don't have enough space if you just have that point presence. You need to have someone on some of those other angles. For example, like Insanity, like Bowsy. And Pittsburgh are going to ban Ana.
not a bad ban here.
No, but I think you'd prefer to ban the Juno.
Yeah. And quickly, New York has
And the
opted to ban the
ban.
Maga.
Yeah, that Bonaparte, I agree with you. I know no more Samoan man with two chain guns.
And okay, so we do see the Maga ban, but I'm looking at Beatdown's career profile. Beatdowns has 26 hours on Zarya this comp season.
I mean, I get like Rialto's second round was Mauga, but are we not gonna ban the Czar?
I mean,
Are they roster
we'll
locked
see out of
before
Beatdowns
this?
here.
It's a real mystery, guys. I'm not sure what we'll see. I mean, it could be anything that starts with a Z and ends with an A. Hey, it could be any tank. It might even be Mauga. Who knows?
Now we will get into it, and maybe we'll see if Beatdowns plays Zarya.
We never know. I don't think B-Town is a Zarya player, I'm gonna be honest. And we are gonna see a pause.
What happened?
Oh, great. Okay, that is...
Oh, it looks like a host accidentally banned someone they shouldn't have.
Well...
It's just a fun night for
this is
this hobby host.
I'm sure there's gonna be a long talk about this later.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I do not envy League Ops.
Yeah, we'll get into this and see if Pittsburgh manages to hold out.
Oh, great. Oh my god.
Ready for battle.
Lucio is now banned. Mauga is still here. This is an actual North NA host moment. This is truly an NA host moment. But we are going to start on market. One of the more heavy high ground based ones with both lanes being more high ground heavy
Ready for
I
battle.
wonder who Pyre's or Bonaparte's going to be playing with that message in chat there.
I wonder. I wonder. I mean,
I
who
forgot about
knows?
the April Fool's stuff. But actually, that's smart out of Bonaparte. He
I
knows
mean, yeah.
Beatdowns is going to play this Zarya, so playing this Ryan is a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, it is a counter to the Czar, because Czar cannot really tank those hammer swings with the fire strikes. And her bubbles just kind of go away very fast in that matchup. But we are going to see the Mei paired with the Reinhardt. The speed on both sides. One side definitely preferring Juno, though, instead of Lucio. I'm not sure how I like the Juno with the Reinhardt, but
They might just not have a Lucio player to speed the
yeah.
Reinhardt around, and that's their solution, which, I mean, isn't bad, but it's not ideal.
I mean, yeah, because the two fundamentally play differently.
Mm-hmm.
With Juno, you need to play more aggressive, and yeah, New York are kind of going to get burned for not playing aggressive with the Juno. Those Kiri heals are just not enough.
Insanity gets that early pick, and they're just able to run it down. Beatdown's looking mighty fine with all this charge here, just going in, being able to take out this Ryan shield as much as possible.
And Bonaparte falling really low, having to burn the Suzu, but Astros get super caught by Insanity. And they are going to stuff up this choke.
Yeah, it feels like
Kinda-
Ryan is just having to play these corners a lot more than he would normally have to with the Czar. Czar's just shredding that shield right now.
I mean, I think that definitely comes back to a difference in their backline. With the Juno, you really need to charge in aggressively. And that rush is more of a get in there rush than anything.
You see High Noon coming out from an Insanity,
Trying
see if he
to
can get anything
chase.
with it.
Hey, that is a... that shatter... It only looked like it hit one, but it also hit Insanity.
I mean, with that, they get the point swap, but you're now... I mean, ults are relatively even here, actually. Both teams coming up on 3 ults.
It's really the difference of those ults, though. I mean, you have beat compared to Ray. So I think for...
And you'll also have Cole coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah. I mean, you can
Actually-
probably go aggressive with Coalescence and then beat the Ray. Then hopefully just kite the Ray out. That Ray is...
And Zeke tried calling the grab, but Parasite manages to take him out with the High Noon.
I mean, like I said, just a call aggressively and then that beat for Ray. Unfortunately, Ray is so strong that beat itself cannot counter it.
And they weren't really able to get much aggression out of that Cole with Parasite's
Yeah.
High Noon killing him.
Exactly. That
So we
healing
will
and damage going through shields.
Next, flashpoint, garden.
And we are going to Garden. Not a great push. Not a great luck if you're Pittsburgh. Definitely on the opposite side of the map from where you were. You had already left spawn. You can't switch spawns back. But-
Hey, you're taking this
In 10 seconds.
this main pathway. You've also got Bowser up on the stairs, and New York's starting to notice that.
1v1ing that Cass. And Bowsy falls really low here. Forced to disengage. And that's a stick onto a Moira, but they have fade. That pulse is wasted. And we are going to see a tectonic shock soon coming out of Bowser. Bonaparte does have the shatter soon.
Yeah, already Bonaparte has it back.
And
See the High Noon? And he gets
and
him off
that
map.
shatter whiffs.
How did that whiff? He had 2 in front of him. At least
I think it was
my
a Zar
screen.
bubble.
Oh, okay.
Because I saw on the indicator it stopped. So on the ground, I think it was Beatdown saving with a Zar bubble.
Yeah, because I believe he had Never and Bowser, and Bonaparte had Never and Bowser in front of him on that shatter.
Yeah. Astro is getting forced out a little. With the...
Area denial.
Yeah, and now you're really seeing them play a lot more aggressive, and it's really forcing Beatdown back. And that is a grab on the wall. That's a huge grab.
And Pitt gets 3 off of that grab. New York tried committing 2 of their ults. They committed both High Noon and the Kitsune Rush. And they just aren't able to use that Kitsune, and Parasite ended up going down very quickly. And Parasite swaps over to the Reaper now.
Probably a little better against Cesar, but I'm not sure how I like Reaper against a Cass.
Yeah, and I honestly liked the Cass going against the Juno. Or not Juno, the Venture.
Yeah, because you can hinder the Venture out of their cooldowns.
Yep. Can make sure that they can't go underground.
And that Zara Beam really just cutting through New York.
Yeah, Beatdowns is now taking down 3 as Zcax somehow killed himself. I'm assuming off the map.
And that's a double up. And I think
Beatdowns
that's your
gets
play.
all 5.
I think that's your play.
Wow.
That is a team kill. That is a quintuple kill if you are Beatdown, and I mean, this is why you should have banned the Czar. Those Czar changes are going to change Czar a little. 2 energy to 2.5 per second. In that energy lost, making Czar a little weaker, but with good bubble management, it shouldn't really matter. And unfortunately, Nevro is going to get caught early by that Nemesis form from Bonaparte. Beatdown trying to clear Astros from this right position, but Insanity just takes his head off. And Biscuit is going to get chased, but now Beatdown has no bubbles.
Yeah. Vicky and Parasite both managed to get some picks there, and Beatdowns just pushed up a little bit too far. Yeah. Actually, Beatdowns was the last one
to die.
Pushed up a little bit.
Yeah, and you can't even switch because you have grab. So like anything you would want to go, you can't even go. And Bowsy is going to die, which forces an immediate reset. Because you are, I mean, Insanity is... And we are going to see more aggression out of New York. And again, that grab on the wall, catching Bonaparte.
And Parasite was on the outside of that wall, but they can't do anything to get that fit.
That's a good... Yeah, I mean, that tectonic shot gets 2, even through Bonaparte trying to stop it with Annihilation. And Pittsburgh are going to flip.
This is our objective now.
However, Astros is going to try to flip the point back. It's just not going to work, though.
Enemy here. Clear out. I'm going in.
Does flip it back, slowly ticking this up, and they also go into OT.
And New York they're on overtime. That High Noon.
Another High Noon.
With Insanity does find Bonaparte. I believe Insanity shot a fully not charged Deadeye shot and then killed Bonaparte. That's what I think happened. Because Deadeye did not kill Bonaparte.
Correct. Yeah, I don't know if Insanity has actually gotten any final blows with this Deadeye. It's just been there to do a lot of damage.
I mean, Deadeye is historically a weaker ultimate, but we are going to see a counter rush. And to counter that, Astros is going to use the overclock. Probably not the brightest idea into a rush, but...
Yeah, not able to get anything from it.
That grab completely whiffs, but Bonaparte does end up kind of inting.
Now it's just
And
Biscuit on
Biscuit
point.
just trying to stall. You just, I mean, if you're New York, you just couldn't build Ray fast enough. And we are going to Palace.
Ruins.
Oh no, Ruins. My bad.
Ruins.
Yeah, the way to tell which side of the map is on is if the spawn is switched.
On. Yep.
Unfortunately for spectators, you don't see what point is next until it's called out in game. So it's kind of a guessing game, which two it is.
Unlocks in 10 seconds.
But Bonaparte going aggressive, forcing some of those bubbles out of beatdown, and we're gonna Ray aggressively.
I don't mind it. It kind of has to take a odd angle to this, but they're gonna lose Nevro, and Bonaparte pops his ult as well.
Yeah, and even as beatdown tries to kill Biscuit, Biscuit just, that fly on the wall always lives.
We'll take this. Zeke did manage to get out of there.
Yeah, and then Sanity has another Deadeye.
Misery made manifest.
You good?
Curious to know how many that is in this map so far.
Lending a hand.
I see Zeke now with his ult.
Yeah, Bonaparte doesn't even have the high noon charge perk.
Insanity.
Yeah, Insanity doesn't even have that. They have the manual Fen the hammer,
Yeah, I did notice that.
which, like, charging high noon this fast, that is an accomplishment. And Parasite is definitely definitely a choice from Parasite there. You don't TP in front of a cast.
And Pitt has took out two of them, but they aren't pushing this point, and they need to get on here.
No.
to-
I mean, New
Contest.
York,
And they don't
And-
get the touch.
yeah, and we're going to Palace.
Pitt had the advantage there, and they just got too distracted trying to chase kills.
And I think Pittsburgh gets here faster.
Some of Pitt, yes, you've already got two basically on point. You've got
Yeah.
some of
Oh, I was
the rest of
wrong.
them
It
making their
is
way
New
there.
York. It is New York coming here first.
Yeah, New York basically all died from that in that
Yeah.
last fight, so they gonna get that advantage. They're
Yeah.
gonna take the side ground first. It's gonna try and play on the opposite side here. Maybe play a little of this
More
other high
kite
ground.
heavy. While somebody captures point, which, hey, we need somebody on point.
Or not.
I-
See, two ults coming out of Pit here. We've got Kitsune and the High Noon.
Insanity, but we are going to see Astros. Astros gets burned immediately through the Deadeye damage reduction. Bonaparte is going to fall, and that High Noon is going to change, or that Death Blossom is going to catch two and deal major damage to both Zeke and Bowsy.
It deals all that damage, but he had nobody else with him to
No.
help out. Everyone else was dead, so he gets no real value out of that, I think.
I mean, you killed two, but, like, it's a carry cast. They're going to get here before you do.
Mark is coming in. They've got the current numbers, but we do
But
see
the
a
grab on the
coming out.
wall again forces annihilation. That Suzu does miss. I think if you're New York, you have to play for Ray. But Tectonic Shock is maybe going to force a little bit of space. Or Bowsy just ends. That's also possible.
Yeah, you've got Parasite up on his high ground, just picking through Insanity and Zeke, so now Pitt has to come into this next fight with no ults,
I mean,
as New York
yeah.
is
coming up
pretty
on
much
3.
at 2, almost 3.
Yeah.
Even getting closer to 4 as well.
I don't
It's gonna
think
be-
Parasite is going to get Death Blossom this fight, but I think he'll get it.
Especially
Especially
not when
with
he dies.
that. But Astros will probably get High Noon mid this fight if Bowsy does not flank, which they are currently doing. And that is the Ray. Forces Kiri to Suzu, and Beatdown just left on his own.
Yeah, it seemed like Zeke was a little bit far in there, but still Pitt managing to take out both supports before they end up going down themselves. And now we're
tied.
in last fight territory.
Yeah. I mean, Pittsburgh still have Rush, High Noon, but New York can match, or New York have high noon and rush, but Pittsburgh can match the rush.
As well, they did also get the Blossom, and there's the Blossom trying to take out Insanity, but not able to.
And Navarro does now have that rush, but that rush is just milliseconds too late.
And Pitt goes down, and that will be the series going to New York.
3-0. I mean, they looked very strong on that Saravasa. Despite going to a 0.5, they still looked very strong. Okay, beatdown was robbed. This is a good play, but the 5k should have.
I do think it was definitely a bit of a rough mental game, starting out having to take that map 1 FF for Pitt, and then having all those delays and issues with that first map. Well, second map, but first map we got to see.
Yeah, I mean,
and I do believe with that loss, that might have knocked Pitt out of playoff contention.
I will check.
They still had a chance. They were 2-2. They're now 2-3. I believe they still have a chance.
I believe Nashville has to lose more, and I believe Pittsburgh, mathematically, I don't think they make it.
It's gonna be rough for them. They
Yeah.
have to win their next match, which, if I remember right, is going to be Sunday against Las Vegas.
Oh,
So-
that is certainly not an easier matchup.
No, it is not.
And also very poetic if you're Pittsburgh, because Soccer is now on Las Vegas Tyrants.
True.
And what a final matchup for them next week, or this Sunday.
Yeah. But
Anyways, we will see you soon. We will see you Sunday, more accurately.
yeah, that is it for us tonight. We do have 5 matches ready for Sunday. So
And
be ready for a long afternoon and night of constant matches being played.
yeah, be ready for 5 pings.
Yes.
I know you're gonna love that.
Apologies in advance.
Anyways, have a good night, everyone, and we will.
Have a good one.